In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Survivor Let's Go to Rocks, which is both an expansion and a standalone game. I'm going to be breaking down how it works, what's great about it, what's not so great about it, and my overall thoughts on the game. There will be a link for this game in the description of this video if you want to pick it up. As well, please be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Before we start, it's important to clarify that Rocks serves as both an expansion to Survivor: The Tribe Has Spoken and as a standalone game. This video will focus specifically on how to play with it on its own. Let's Go to Rocks comes with 5 brand new challenges straight from the world of Survivor. But before we jump into each of those challenges, we'll explore how the game's process works. To start, each player will choose a color and take the 2 character cards associated with that color. You can place these cards face up in front of you. Next, shuffle the 15 purple challenge cards and create a draw pile in the center of the table. You can set the 5 orange challenge cards aside, as these will only be used when this set is combined with Survivor: The Tribe Has Spoken. Place the 10 gray rocks, the 3 purple rocks, the bag, and the immunity idol necklace on the table next to the challenge cards. Now you're ready to start the game. Pick one player to go first. That player will then flip over the first challenge card. If you win the challenge, you become the owner of the immunity idol for this round. This protects you from elimination, as well as gives you the power to decide who's voted out by flipping over one character card on the table. Remember, the idol protects you this round, but not the next round, as the idol will always go to the winner of the next challenge. The only way to hold on to it is to keep winning. The winner of the last challenge will flip over the next challenge card, and the next fight for the idol will commence. When both of a player's character cards have been flipped face down, they are eliminated from the game. However, keep in mind that you can still compete in the challenges. You might not be able to win the game, but you can win the idol and eliminate a player's character card. The last player standing with at least one character card left wins the game. Let's take a brief look at how each of these 5 challenges work. The 1 now or 2 later challenge. The goal is to not pull the purple rock from the bag. The player who drew this challenge card goes first. On your turn, you can either pull one rock out of the bag and place it on the table, or you can pass the bag to the next player. But the next time the bag is in your hands, you must pull 2 rocks with no passing. If you pull a gray rock, you can leave it on the table, passing the bag to the next player. But if you draw a purple rock, you're eliminated from this round of the challenge. The next player will then take the bag and make the same decision, kicking off the second round of the challenge. Continue playing until one player is left standing. The player that wins the challenge gets the immunity idol. The hide and seek challenge. The goal is for the observer to find the purple rocks while the others hide them. The player who drew this card is the observer. The player to the left of the observer takes 2 purple rocks and passes them to the next player. But here's the trick: the player can pretend to pass them, but may secretly hold them, as it's the other player's job to trick the observer. The rocks must be passed 5 times, even if a player passes them more than once. Of course, the observer does not get to pass the rocks. After 5 passes, the observer must guess who has the rocks by pointing at a player and having them reveal their hand. If that player has the rocks, the observer wins and gets the immunity idol. However, if that player doesn't have the rocks, the player secretly holding them wins the round and gets the immunity idol. The highest bidder challenge. The goal is to bid the highest without pulling the purple rock out of the bag. Place 10 gray rocks and 1 purple rock inside the bag. Starting with the player who drew the challenge card, go around the table. Each player must decide either to bid or to pass. If you're bidding, you must decide how many rocks you think you can pull from the bag without pulling the purple rock. The bid must always be higher than the previous bid, with the first player setting the bar. If you choose to pass, you lose your opportunity to bid again during this challenge. You can't win the immunity idol, but you also avoid being eliminated this round. Keep in mind that the first player must always bid. All players continue to bid until one player is the highest bidder and all other players have passed. Once this happens, that player will begin blindly drawing rocks from the bag according to their bid. If they pull all of their rocks out without pulling a purple rock, they win the challenge and receive the immunity idol. However, if they at any point pull the purple rock out, they are eliminated from the challenge. If a player is eliminated, put all of the rocks back into the bag and start the next round, with the player to the left of the eliminated player kicking it off with a bid. This challenge continues until a player has either won the bid or is the last player standing. The pull or steal challenge. The goal is to end the challenge with the purple rock in your hand. This one is all about bluffing. Place 1 purple rock and a certain amount of gray rocks into the bag according to the scale in the survival guide. The player who drew this challenge card is player 1, with the player to the left being player 2, and so on. Player 1 will kick the challenge off by taking the bag of rocks. The player with the bag has a choice: either take a rock out of the bag and pass the bag to the next player, or steal a rock from a player that you think has the purple rock. Remember, player 1 must always take a rock out of the bag. Each player is allowed to look look at the rock and can even talk to other players about their rock, but they must not show it to anyone else. And they don't need to tell the truth about what rock they have. Once everyone has a rock, all players must reveal their rocks on the count of 3. The player with the purple rock wins the challenge and earns the immunity idol. The lowest score loses challenge. The goal is to be the last player standing. Place 5 gray rocks and 3 purple rocks into the bag. Starting with the player who drew the challenge card, each player must grab or pretend to grab any number of rocks out of the bag and pass the bag to the next player. You can grab 8 rocks or no rocks, but either way, tread carefully. Just don't show anyone else what you have or don't have. Once all the players have taken a turn with the bag, everyone will count down from 3 and reveal what's in their hands. Gray rocks are good and are worth 1 point each, while purple rocks are bad and are worth -2 points each. The player or tied players with the least amount of points is eliminated from this round. After this, put all of the rocks back into the bag, with the last player to have the bag beginning the next round. If the last player with the bag was eliminated, give it to the next player to the left. If all remaining players are tied one round, redo the round. The challenge continues until there is 1 player left standing. That player wins the round and earns the immunity idol. And just like that, you're all set to take on the challenges of Survivor Island. While the original Survivor base game was a big hit with fans, more than a few players pointed out the surprising lack of challenges represented in it, especially so considering the fact that it's based on a TV show that's all about the challenges. With the arrival of Let's Go to Rocks, that concern has mostly been laid to rest, including an eye-catching immunity idol necklace, a bag of rocks, new character cards, and new challenge cards. This Survivor game has come to bring some much-needed variety to the game table. The challenges themselves are simple yet fun to play, and the design of all the elements included fit perfectly into the theme of the game. Another thing that I really appreciate about this game is the fact that it can be played on its own as a standalone game, and it can also be added as an expansion to the base game. On its own, this game is much easier for newcomers to learn how to play, and if combined with the original base game, it adds some fun variety to the established gameplay. From the gameplay options to the overall design, this is one Survivor game that fans of both the television series and the tabletop game cannot afford to miss. While by no means a major complaint, I was slightly disappointed that more items weren't included in this set. Now it does deliver on the name of the game by including a bag full of rocks, some new cards, and a cool immunity idol necklace, but considering the size of the box and the $20 price tag, I would have enjoyed a couple of extra items that tied into other challenges. That said, that's more of a gripe than it is a legitimate concern. Lastly, I'll mention that while the gameplay is simple enough, and the rules for each of the challenges make sense, this is one of those games that requires a lot of reading and learning before you can begin playing. Now, you might be thinking of other games that have a much bigger learning curve, but remember, this is a party game, and the mark of a good party game is its ability to appeal to a wide variety of players and to be able to be easily played. This is where Rocks struggles. This is also the case with the base game though, where you feel like you've accomplished a homework assignment prior to playing. And don't even get me started on combining this version of the game with the base game. Needless to say, you'll want to make sure that everyone at the table is willing to take at least half an hour to learn how to play prior to beginning, and even then, it might take a little longer than that. All in all, Survivor Let's Go to Rocks accomplishes its goal of bringing island competition to your competitive game nights. The new challenges bring some refreshing variety to the Survivor experience, while the design of the immunity idol and the rocks themselves are perfectly on brand for the series. While it involves a little homework prior to playing, whether on its own or by adding it to the original game, Rocks is no doubt worth the time and the effort. If you're questioning whether or not to add this bag of rocks to your game night collection, my advice would be to toss it right onto your game shelf. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and be blessed.